Hello and welcome to the inside of the facelifted BMW M340i iDrive. My name is Ciro De Siena. This is the Cars.co.za YouTube channel, and we have brought the straight six monster out to one of our favorite farm roads so that I can, give it a little bit of the beans, because you want to know how this car drives, and that's my job. You've come to the right place. Right, roll the theme song. Let's go. Dream, search, drive. Cars.co.za.
Whether you're an angel, a dictator, a space captain, a tree, or just if your car is stolen, we'll help you replace it.
Oh, it's still Archie's car, man.
With no drama. Budget, the official insurer of good South Africans.
So what are we dealing with here? Inline 6 up front. This is the single turbo engine, the B58. I'm so bad with engine codes and BMW model codes. I can't keep up. There's a lot of letters, there's a lot of numbers. This is the B58, I'm told. Single turbo with 275 kilowatts, 500 Newton meters of torque. 275 kilowatts is a nice number. I mean, that's sort of what you get out of something like the new Audi RS3. Obviously, that's quite a smaller car compared to this, but anything approaching 300 kilowatts is definitely not going to be slow. So the claim time here, 0 to 100 in 4.3 seconds. And yesterday, my colleague Dave Taylor took this out with a draggy, and he got it down to 4.2 with launch control. This thing really hooks up off the line. And interestingly, that gives it the same 0 to 100 time as the brand new M2, which of course is rear wheel drive, so it doesn't have that traction off the line. But anything with an M badge on the back cannot just be good on paper. It has to be good out here in the real world when you've got your hands on the steering wheel and your butt in the seat. And so let's flick it into sport mode and find out. Launch control. It has got easier in BMWs since they ditched the MDCT box, because that box used to complain when you wanted launch control. But I think you go Sports Plus, you click the traction button once, and now you have to actually do it over here. There we go. And then left foot on the brake, right foot on the loud pedal. No, that's not launch control, but I think it'll go. Whoa! That wasn't even proper launch control, and it was like being shot out of a cannon. Wow. All-wheel drive is good for drag racing. I know that sounds very obvious, but it's true. Okay, I'm quite a big fan of driving with traction control on, so let's put that back on. Now, one thing BMW really does seem to get right more than any other brand, and it's a small thing, but I'm telling you it matters, is the driving position. You get almost a sports car-like driving position in here. It's kind of that bathtub sort of feeling that you get, that you really, really want from a dynamic car. It helps you feel connected to the chassis, connected to the car, connected to the road as well, because you're not, 3 meters off the ground. So that's pretty much spot on. Now, what I appreciate about BMW is they make it easy to flick through the driving modes. You've got one button for each: Eco, Pro, Comfort, Sport. Hit Sport, you now get a couple of options up on this new iDrive screen. So you can go Sport Plus, Sport Individual, or Sport, and you can configure the car. Let's just go, give me everything, give me Sport Plus. To get it into manual, you can flick it down once into Sport if you want, and then any pull on any paddle gives you manual, and then you go. You get this awesome new rev counter in your heads-up display and on your graphics in front of you. And that really helps you know what the engine is up to, because it does rev quite quickly. Not maybe as quickly as you would expect in terms of engine speed pickup, but my goodness, that 500 Newton meters of torque is a lot. It feels like you can just constantly ride this wave of torque. There's absolutely no let up in terms of power and torque here. I think if you always imagined yourself in an M3, maybe you'll be slightly disappointed, but anything shy of that, there's more than enough power. One of the changes with this facelift model is this new naff little gear knob, which so many manufacturers are adopting and which I just don't like. I just like the idea of something to shift, gears with, even if it's just from P and down into D. Anyway, small complaint. Now, what I've found since I've brought this car out here and I've been driving for the cameras all morning is that the best setup, at least for this road, is to put the adaptive dampers in Sport and everything else in Sport Plus. When you put the dampers into Sport Plus, you tend to get a very stiff, sort of jittery ride, and the car doesn't feel as planted as you'd probably like it to feel. But this is something that BMW have gotten right for decades and that other manufacturers struggle to get right. The car is stiff, but it's not wooden, it's not crashy, and you constantly feel connected to the road. So they've minimized body roll with the adaptive dampers, and you do get the feeling like you know what each tire is doing all the time. And that means that you go into corners with confidence. Of course, this is not a leery rear-wheel drive car, and it's not like the M3 where you can decouple the back axle and make it rear-wheel drive, so no donuts for you. So you do have this confidence of the all-wheel drive. It is rear biased, and unlike, say, something like an Audi, it doesn't tend to understeer when you push into the corner a little bit hard. And it is a little bit lighter than the M3, and you can sort of feel it dance a little bit. You can really feel and adjust your line into the corner, even when the corner is bumpy like this one, and just know what the car is up to. And maybe you don't want predictableness from your leery BMW, but to be honest, out here in the real world, when you want to go home in one piece, predictableness is not a bad thing. Let me quickly talk you through the cabin. So with this new facelift, BMW calls it an LCI, a life cycle impulse, which is one of the wankiest terms in motoring, but anyway, means that they've quite thoroughly refreshed the car. So you've got different sort of aesthetics, front and rear, different bumpers. The headlights are a little bit thinner and they now have sort of that blue inset. Also on the outside of the car, you can now get a couple of new paint colors as well, and you can get this new wheel design fitted to this particular unit, and you can have it painted black and with the grey paint and the black wheels, and kind of looks quite stealthy, like a bit of a stealth fighter. Inside the car, you now have BMW's new massive curved screen. It's 14 inches, and it's sort of making the iDrive jog wheel quite redundant because they've curved it at the driver, and so it's actually much easier to just use the touchscreen as a touchscreen. Although if you do like physical buttons and a wheel, you still get that down here. The climate control has moved into the screen. The pre-facelift had the buttons down here, now it goes into the screen. But at least BMW, unlike some manufacturers, has a permanent climate button on the bottom of the screen at all times. So you don't have to go and faff into the menus. You know what I miss though? I don't know, call me old fashioned, but I miss dials. I miss a needle going and and moving to the red line and your speed increasing. I just miss that. I don't know, maybe I'm just getting old, but the digital dials, it's nice and looks cool and fancy and futuristic, but I miss dials. So yes, there is 100 kilowatts less in here compared to that which you're going to find in the M3. But this is a much less daunting car to drive. I'm not saying it's unchallenging, but the combination of the xDrive and this amount of power means that pretty much anyone can get in and go fast. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. If you're looking for a fast, comfortable, practical daily, then this ticks a lot of boxes. But I am glad to report that out here, where there are some actual corners, you can put it into manual and attack corners with confidence. Oh, that is a nice noise. That is your characteristic BMW straight 6 howl. Even though the gases are going through the turbocharger, still sounds pretty good. Maybe a little bit muted, but I think we can thank European legislation for that. But I think there is enough oral pleasure there to satisfy you. This car's fast, Jesus. And it's got the brakes to match. It really does. That's important. Stopping is important. I think what I'm finding quite remarkable about this car is how well it hides its weight. It's nearly 1.7 tons. And it has this brilliant combination of managing to feel light-footed and sure-footed at the same time. And I really must give credit to the BMW suspension guys and the drivetrain guys, because that is a very difficult combination to master. And so you get a car that feels adjustable, it feels like it has character, it's not just a one-trick pony. There is enough here to make you feel good about not having enough money for an M3. Right, we've got all the good stuff out of the way, the adrenaline's up, and now let's talk about the boring stuff, because it is important. So, the price of this car, the M340i xDrive, when it came out in 2019, we drove it in 2020, you found that review on our site. The price of this car, list price, was almost exactly 1 million rand. Here we are 3 years later with the LCI version, Life Cycle Impulse, and we are now at 1.36 million rand. The list price of this car in 3 years has gone up 360,000 rand. I'm getting so tired of talking about how expensive cars are. But anyway, that is the reality. And that makes it almost exactly 700,000 rand cheaper than an M3. And that sort of makes me question, is it 700,000 rand less fun? I don't think so. For me, this is an impressive car in quite a few ways. It has an interesting and an impressive breadth of talent. Right now I'm in Eco Pro, which makes it feel like it's driving through custard compared to the Sport Plus mode. But now I'm saving fuel. And when I want to set my hair on fire, it's pretty much one button. And if you need decent rear space, you've got it. If you need a decent boot, you've got it. I love a fast sedan. This is quite possibly, if you like sedans and you don't need an SUV in your life or want an SUV, this is quite possibly one of the best dailies I've driven in a long time. It's a characterful car. I know maybe these days the idea of a 1.5 million rand 3 Series seems a little bit ridiculous, but you are sort of getting quite a few cars in one here. Sports car, practical car, and I think they've improved the looks quite a lot as well. Would I be spending 1.5? No, I'd probably buy a second-hand Porsche. But if you insist on driving new cars, I don't think you can go too wrong with this new M340i. Right, thanks very much for watching. If you're new to the channel, we have over 700 videos on the channel right now. If you're looking at a used car, you'll almost certainly find a review somewhere in our back catalog. If you haven't checked out our app yet, it's completely free. It's brand new, well, it's updated, and it's brilliant. You'll find all the new car specs and pricing constantly updated on the app, and it makes it really easy to browse all of our used cars, all 70,000 of them, and all of the new cars on the South African market. We'd love it if you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a thing. Cheers, be safe. Cars.co.za.
All our Cilos and Archies deserve insurance that pays out.